Alright guys, today we will be subtracting fractions, particularly focusing on borrowing from fractions. This is where kids tend to struggle the most, so we're going to show a short video. So the first thing that you're going to do that I recommend is lining them up vertically. So I take my two numbers and I am going to line them up vertically. The next thing, if you look over at the checklist right beside it, it says you must find a common denominator. So when you're adding or subtracting fractions, you do have to find that common denominator. So for this case, the common denominator is 4. So we already have a 3/4 there, so we don't need to change that. We're going to change this 1/2 to have a common denominator of 4. So to get to 4, we're going to multiply 2 by 2, and then we do the same thing to the top. So I'm going to go ahead and cross out this old fraction so that I know not to use it anymore. So now I have 2 2/4 minus 3/4. Now I can't take 3 from 2, so what I'm going to do is go over here to this whole number of 2. And I'm going to borrow 1 whole from this number. So I'm going to cross it out and I'm going to take away 1 whole. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that 1 whole that I borrowed and I'm going to add it over here to my fraction. Now this is the same concept if we were to do something like 43 minus 15. If I were to take this, I would have to borrow, I can't take 5 from 3, so I'm going to have to borrow from that 4 right here. So I would take this and add that. It's the same concept with the fractions, except I'm taking 1 whole and I am adding it to my fraction right here. So now when I go to look at this, I have 2/4 plus 4/4, which is 6/4. So now I don't want to deal with that anymore. Now I have a new one of 6/4. So now I have 1 6/4 minus 3/4. So 6 minus 3 is 3. So we subtract the numerators and we keep the denominator the same. So I have 4 as that denominator, and then the 1 whole minus 0 is just 1. And so that is how you borrow fractions with subtracting. Now, another thing that is actually easy that we figured out, you can make these improper fractions. So if I wanted to do that, I would take this mixed number and we would use the big C method. So I would multiply by the denominator and the whole number and add the numerator. This would become 5/2 minus 3/4. The common denominator is still 4, so I would multiply this 2 by 4 and the 5 by 2, and I would get 10/4 minus 3/4. That is equal to 7/4. And so then when we divide, top dog goes in the house, 4 goes into 7 once, with 3 left over, we get the exact same fraction of 1 3/4 as that answer. So there are those two methods that if you want to use either of them, it is fine. Both work, as I just showed you. So feel free to use either of them, and I hope you now know how to do fractions. Thanks, bye.